What's up, everybody? Back again, Alex and John here with another episode of Double Take. We're very excited. The NBA season is winding down. We got 1/4 left and we're coming off a great weekend of basketball, right, Johnny?
It's March Madness, baby. We know when football season ends, that's what time it is right now. Everyone's looking forward to college basketball. Right now, the NBA's pretty awesome, and we just had two awesome games especially for the Lakers, who just won. They beat the Bucks on Friday night. LeBron, went home, had his 2 glasses of wine, had some dinner, got ready for the Clippers game on Sunday, and yeah, it was a great weekend. And I'm officially on the Lakers wagon. I was a little questionable going into the season, but right now, if I had to put $100 on anyone to win the title, it's the Lakers. And I started thinking that about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I think it was when I watched them. I'm trying to think who it. Right after, I think they beat the Celtics a few weeks ago. And then also after the Pelicans game without Davis, this is what I saw from LeBron. And then on top of that, with what they just did this weekend, all that combined, that's where I'm at.
Well, in light of that, we have a great show planned. A lot of fun stuff to talk about, especially because we've seen LeBron versus Giannis, which is, that seems to be neck and neck right now in the MVP race. And then we've seen LeBron and Kawhi also, LA versus LA, which has been a big storyline of this year.
Arguably 3 best teams and the 3 best players all went at it this weekend.
Yeah. So by the end of the show, we will talk about the title race and make our early picks as we have 1/4 left in the season. And we will also pick who we would, want to lead our teams in the playoffs. But before all of that, first, John, do you have a question for me?
I do, actually, Alex. So, we just talked about what we saw this weekend. Obviously, a big story at, risk this weekend was Giannis' MVP case. So, a lot of people are tweeting, and a lot of traction's gathering around the LeBron James MVP campaign. He's won 4 before. Now it's the time of the season when everyone starts saying he should have 5, he should have 6. Do you think that LeBron, after the 2 wins this weekend, has made an argument to take the MVP from Giannis?
John, I think right now it's neck and neck. It's definitely neck and neck. And early in the season, when people wanted to say Luka, I think we might have spoken about this on the show.
No, we actually did.
Yeah, we definitely did. But
we did on the radio.
I'm pretty sure you picked.
I said Luka.
You picked
Luka.
He got
injured.
He's injured. His injury kind of derailed his campaign a little
number
bit.
2 in the West.
But also, I definitely didn't expect Luka to hang on to that. But anyway, you picked Luka, and I was on the Giannis train. And what Giannis has been doing has been undeniable. He's averaging almost 30 points, around 13 rebounds and 6 assists. And obviously their team, it looks like it's on pace to win 70 games, which if they do that, you can't really deny him the MVP, in my opinion. However, the Lakers and LeBron have made this race very, very interesting, especially as the last 2 games have done well for LeBron, as we saw them beat the Bucks, who have been rolling, as LeBron outplayed Giannis. And then we had LeBron this afternoon, beat the Clippers, and he was really the one who down the stretch made those big plays.
Made those fourth quarter
plays. He had
plays.
big defensive plays, really.
He closed it off.
There was 2 things. I thought, first, there was one call that I thought was bad, which was the LeBron, I think, drew a charge on Marcus Morris. They didn't call it. But anyway, he had that crucial ball, what's it called? Loose ball where he dove for the ball and got it. And, so those things to seal the game. But obviously, one thing that stuck out to me was his free throw shooting. Everyone wants to knock his free throw shooting. That's pretty bad,
He shot
bad.
80%
Low
today,
average,
right?
typically. But today, he was 12 for 15.
Yeah.
Which is great.
He switched his shot. I was telling you this during the game when we were watching. He holds the ball down for so much longer before he, brings it up. And it's I think, honestly, that looks like it's putting more pressure on himself to make that free throw. He's holding it down.
There's more time for him to sit and think about it.
Yeah,
Which
Dwight Howard, that's the mental game. He would not be doing well with that. So
exactly. But anyway, LeBron, after his Herculean performance versus the Bucks with 37 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals, a block, and about 57% shooting in that big game and he's also guarding Giannis down the stretch, so that was a huge game for him. And then today against the Clippers, he had 28 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks. Like I said, 12 free throws out of 15, which is pretty good stat for him. And yeah, I think he outplayed both Giannis and Kawhi. Obviously, Kawhi today was minus 17 and plus and minus. I know some people don't think that matters, but on top of that, Kawhi had 27 points, so almost as much as LeBron. But then 2 rebounds, 0 assists, and 0 steals. And I think in that head-to-head, maybe this is actually won't get into this because we're going to talk about who we pick later for the playoffs. But there's a clear difference between LeBron and Kawhi there. But obviously with Giannis, he's been the favorite all year. But I really think that these 2 performances have pushed LeBron right up to where Giannis is. And, if LeBron can finish off the season playing this well and, maybe the Bucks don't win 70 games, I definitely think that voters will pick LeBron. And you're the one who likes to talk about the narrative, too. So.
All right, yeah. And that's what I'm going to say here. It's all, I said time and time again, talking about MVP of the NFL and now the NBA. It's about the narrative. It's about the story, right? It's about, Lamar Jackson, we love, what he's been doing as a 22-year-old kid. The story, it's more interesting, right? Or, last year, it could have been Harden, but Harden had the year before. We were ready for a new fun story like Giannis, who was hooping last year. And now this year.
That sounds like a Harden fan to me saying
this
that.
This year, Giannis has been incredible all season long, and the narrative is okay, he's got it, it's done. But it's the time of the year when March comes around. There's 20 games up to the season. We want to start talking. People are gonna start throwing Zion's name out there for Rookie of the Year, even though John Morant's been busting the league's butt the entire season, right? Instead, we're going to throw Zion's name in there just because it's more interesting. It's more fun for Stephen A. Smith and, Skip Bayless to talk about.
And John and Alex safety.
And John and Alex talk about, right? But, and that's, I guess, what we're actually doing right here. But it's not what it is right now. LeBron's, he's definitely shortened the gap. I will say that for sure. No one can look at this weekend and say he didn't close the gap for what he's been doing. But to look away at what Giannis has been doing all season and just kind of, now I don't want to say dismiss because we're not dismissing his first 60 games, but to say that, LeBron caught up in one weekend, nah, he didn't. Giannis's gap, it was more than, Nick Wright said, Giannis had a 13-point lead going into the fourth quarter, and LeBron's been on a 9-0 run.
LeBron, can I read that quote really quick?
Yeah, why don't you read that tweet?
So Nick Wright, he always has an interesting way of
Fox
looking at
Sports
things.
1.
Yeah, especially as he always, he's a LeBron guy, so he's always making arguments for LeBron. This is what he said on Friday morning. He said before, LeBron and the Lakers played the Bucks and the Clippers, he said, if the season ended today, Giannis should be the MVP, but we have, 4 of this season left, so the Bucks right now, if you want to make an analogy, the Bucks are up 13 points going into the fourth quarter. The game isn't over. We have a fourth quarter of the season, the fourth quarter in that game. So LeBron can go on a little 9-0 run, and he can make it interesting. But he has to play great tomorrow and Sunday. Or I guess that was Thursday then. But anyway, so after this weekend, he tweeted, this weekend was exactly that 9-0 run. Giannis is still leading the MVP race, but it's the closest it's been all year. And it's foolish to say the race is over. So what do you think about that, John? What do you make of those comments that he said?
So like I was saying, LeBron did not go on the 9-0 run, I don't think. Giannis does not have a 4-point lead. The equivalent of a 4-point lead is two stops and 2 scores and now it's back. Giannis doesn't only have a 4-point lead. And you know what? People are gonna I'm saying this now, yet I know that it's gonna people like Nick Wright, for example, are gonna say, it's only a 2-point lead, whatever, because Giannis, who's got an MRI on his knee, I think it's just a light knee sprain or nothing crazy, but Giannis will miss the next 2 games, right? So I'm saying the next 2 games, Giannis will miss. We're gonna watch the Bucks. I think the Bucks, they were losing when I checked the score to the Suns earlier today. The Bucks.
Giannis is not playing though,
right? And so. I know, but I'm getting there. Their record's gonna be worse.
Yeah.
If they lose 2 more games, their record will be the Lakers will be essentially 1 loss behind them. And I got news. Their record's gonna get a lot worse. They were on a 70-win pace, but they're playing I think the Celtics 2 more times. The Sixers in there.
I think the Heat. Oh no, we're done. We played them 3 times already.
I think we played them 1 more time.
We played them. I think we only played them 3 times.
We're playing them 4. It was 1 more. I checked the schedule. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. But I looked at their schedule. Playing the Heat 1 more time.
Yeah, they do have 1 more time.
Right. So they got the Heat. Let's read out, Alex. They got the
Nuggets, Bucks, Warriors, easy. Heat, Grizzlies, Wizards. I'll just name the notable teams. Rockets, Mavericks. They have the Raptors twice.
Raptors twice. That's the second best team.
The Celtics and the Sixers.
Sixers. So
and then
tougher schedule. And then 4 more cupcake games. But those are tough games. And right now they're at like 10 losses. Right, their record's like 53-10. They already 53-10. I got it right. They just clinched. I think it was a week or 2 weeks ago. They were like one of the. It was the earliest time. Yeah, the earliest time in like their franchise history that they clinched a playoff berth. Right, so they've been doing this all season long, and Giannis has been hooping all season long, and here we are, and it's like, okay, LeBron, he's back. Like, he took the lead, or not took the lead. He's right there with Giannis, and he's not. So the thing with Giannis has been doing, which is so incredible this year, is, one, he doesn't have the second guy on his team the way that LeBron, Kawhi, we got Russ and Harden together, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, LeBron, Anthony Davis. Who's his second guy? Chris Middleton, who played horribly against the Heat, who didn't play well against the Lakers, and that's the second guy that has to step up against those great teams.
When I think about
Giannis is making this team, he's on a 70-game win pace, right? Giannis is doing that with Chris Middleton as the second best player.
But that's not even the thing. That's not it's not just a 1-2 punch. Like, obviously, that's Chris Middleton's the second best player, but the way I see it is like, it's Kawhi and it's Paul George. Then it's LeBron and it's Davis. It's Giannis, and then I feel like their second best player is like the combination of Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez,
so
Matthews,
now
and Bledsoe.
we're just comparing their teams, their rosters without.
No, because
Giannis,
I guess what I'm
LeBron,
saying. I guess what I'm saying is like their top 5 is probably just as talented as the Lakers' top 5. Because the Lakers have LeBron and Davis,
I have to
but then those
about
next
that
3
one.
guys like Kuzma, Bradley, and Green.
I really have to think about that.
I don't know about that,
but still having. You tell me right now, you could ask all 30 coaches, all 30 GMs in the NBA who they'd rather have, Anthony Davis or Brook Lopez, the combination of Brook Lopez, Eric Bledsoe, and Chris Middleton.
Yeah, people are picking Davis.
No one's, you're going with the better player. The team when trades happen, the team that gets the better player, like they win the trade.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And but this is I think this is one of the best arguments for Giannis. So he's been averaging about like 30 minutes during this season, right? And his numbers are 29.6 points per game, which is third in the league. He's fourth in rebounds, 13.7. In assists, he's top 25. He's 23rd, 5.8. He has the highest PER, player efficiency rating, like in NBA history, which is 31.69.
Yeah.
So that alone is like enough for it's like, okay, he's an MVP.
If you're a big advanced stats guy.
Yeah, I am. I'm ready for this. His per 36 minutes, okay? So this is if Giannis does play 36 minutes a game, which guess what? He doesn't need to because they beat these teams by so bad. He can rest most of the fourth quarter, and that's what he does for all their games. 34.5 points per game. So you round up, that's about 35 points. 16 rebounds a game, and 6.7 assists with 1.2 steals and 1.2 blocks to go with that. That's what he would be doing if he was playing 36 minutes. So now when the playoffs come around, you're playing 40, you're playing more minutes.
Like that's just like I don't want.
You don't like you don't think that's a good argument.
I mean, I don't really care for like all
his
that
field goal
advanced,
percentage.
Like, per 30, I mean, we can show LeBron's 30 per 36 too, and it might be just good. But I think what you mentioned,
he hasn't.
Two things you
Giannis's
mentioned.
Minutes are a lot less than LeBron's though.
Two things you meant. Yeah, sure, but like. I don't know. Like, do I really going to count minutes into that?
I'm just saying. Let me get back to my argument. My argument is that Giannis is doing things like historical. Like, if you look at the top 10 PERs of all-time NBA history, it's essentially a list of like 3 players, like
Jordan, LeBron.
It's like Will, LeBron, Jordan, a few times each. Steph Curry's 2016 season when they went 73-9 is there, and now Giannis is better than all of those.
Yeah,
all those seasons.
But
and Giannis is more efficient according to the player efficiency rating. So I'm saying now it's like LeBron has a great weekend, and now we're willing to throw it all away.
Listen,
LeBron plays Anthony Davis.
No.
Giannis is not.
You're wrong because you're the one who keeps talking about the narrative. It's not about those stupid numbers. And to be honest, John, you know who votes for these things. There's someone who voted for Carmelo Anthony in the 2012-2013 season. Instead, LeBron was supposed to be the first unanimous
Which that
MVP.
was BS.
It was BS, obviously. People just
that
vote.
Dude does not deserve
you're right.
a vote.
People vote based on the narrative. And that was the year that the Knicks won 54 games. So, like, whatever. But anyway, it's about the narrative, as you mentioned. And this narrative, late in the game, late in the season, LeBron has put together a string of pretty good performances. Guess what? You can talk about Giannis' stat line. LeBron's stat line is not shabby either. He's averaging 25 and 10 assists, 10.7 assists. Talk about most valuable.
Of course.
I mean, we've seen seasons.
He's passing Anthony Davis.
We've seen seasons where Steve Nash beat out guys like Shaq and Kobe who have, the gaudy stats. However, Steve Nash was the guy who was making the passes, and he was the most valuable player. So I know that Giannis right now, it seems like he's too strong.
Who's literally a center, power forward, 7 foot tall, and he's still averaging 6 assists a game.
Yes, I understand, but my point is that
plus
what LeBron is doing,
5 more points than LeBron is per game.
That LeBron has the value, and that's so. And I the narrative I think is what's going to happen. It's going to take control, and guess who controls the narrative? The guys like Nick Wright who you disagree
tweeting
with,
about
who
LeBron.
are talking about it. And then the final thing is, the standings I think is going to be huge, because if you really look at it, the Lakers have a shot to actually beat beat out the Bucks in the
their record.
standings.
Their records,
because the Lakers have they have a couple tougher games. But it looks, if you compare it, we just mentioned the Bucks, as they go on this season. So I think LeBron has a real chance. And right now, so you still would pick Giannis. If I had to vote today, I think I'd pick Giannis.
Who wins it? 20 games later, who's going to win the MVP this season? Tell me right now.
Dude, I obviously you can't. I could see scenarios in which both. The reason I say that is because I really think they're both. They're neck and neck. If I had to pick with a safe choice, I'd probably bet on Giannis.
Right. It's going to be Giannis.
I feel like it's really neck and neck. And if it's Giannis right now, I'd say 60% chance Giannis gets it. Give LeBron 40%.
Yeah, and I'll say that too. I think a few weeks ago it was Giannis is going to be unanimous, and at the time that was true, but LeBron definitely is going to get some first-place votes now after what's happened this season. All right. So we know that for sure.
So I think this would be a good segue. We're talking about most valuable player, but obviously this is just a regular season trophy. So if you had to, pick just one of these guys to lead your team into the playoffs, you got LeBron, Kawhi, or Giannis. Well, first of all, who would you pick? But also, are there any other guys that we need to talk about I think in that conversation?
We can definitely agree. The James Harden people will want to throw his name in there. Sorry, Harden's not proved it in the playoffs yet. And, we could say, Giannis hasn't proved much in the playoffs. And that's fine. But I think Giannis, leading his team to more one seed essentially, I guess, this season and last season, to me is more of a reason why, Giannis, I'd rather take him going in the playoffs. But the Raptors did definitely expose Giannis in the playoffs with the way they played defense on him last season. So the Harden people want to throw Harden in there. I've seen Anthony Davis with people picking their tier 1 NBA players. To me, Davis has not done enough by himself. The best season he's having is, he's had is with LeBron James on his team, and who's the greatest player of all time, right? And all right, maybe it's Jordan, but one of the best players ever on his team is LeBron, but. So Davis hasn't done enough to earn his spot there. I think it's definitely, you agree with me, it's LeBron, Kawhi, and Giannis.
Yeah.
And I would hope that you would agree with the same order as me. I don't think this is too...
All right, who's your order?
The order, it's got to be LeBron. Bill Simmons, ridiculous that you picked Kawhi. Look what happened today.
He recently
did. And Kawhi won it last year, but, the title... But acting like LeBron wouldn't do the same on that Raptors team, I
don't know, man.
Listen,
they play differently.
I give Kawhi the crown last year as well because LeBron didn't make the playoffs, which I think is a blemish on his legacy that he didn't make the playoffs last season.
And I disagree.
But this season it's LeBron obviously easily number 1. Kawhi's got to be 2 because we've seen him win before, obviously, and I've got Giannis 3, even though I just argue that he's the MVP this season. We know there's a blueprint that is able to stop him in the playoffs. We saw the Raptors do it last year. They were up 2-0, and they just threw bodies at him. And guess what happened when he got triple teamed? He dished it out to Eric Bledsoe, who missed his 3-pointer, Giannis is a player, he can't keep it in his hands. He can't keep the team's fate in his hands because essentially they can just throw everything at him.
All right.
And I think that's because he doesn't have the outside game. So I'm putting him last behind Kawhi.
Here's why you're wrong. Because, yes, we're talking last year you sided that with Giannis. So, okay, before I say that, I agree with you about LeBron. I would pick him. I could see why people would argue
You can't disagree with me about Kawhi.
Here's why I would pick Giannis. I would pick LeBron, then I'm going Giannis.
We're switching the player that we were arguing for from the last one.
Well, no, but you're arguing Kawhi. Whatever, it doesn't matter. No, because I just think Giannis. I'll take Giannis before I take Kawhi. Yeah. So, anyway, the reason I take Giannis is you mentioned that how they threw bodies at him. This is what last year, Toronto was able to do that, and he couldn't really do anything because he doesn't have a perimeter game. We're talking about last year when he was he 24? I think he was still 24 last year.
Yeah.
This is his first time like really leading his team. Like that was a team that had expectations. In a meaningful playoff series, like. You're gonna have those growing pains, and for them to get to the Western Conference Finals still is a success in and of itself.
That's great. But age is included in this. I'd rather take Kawhi.
Listen, Giannis this year is much better, and I think what we're really seeing this year is he's really becoming an alpha dog. He cares about head to head. He cares about what people say. Like he definitely.
Yeah, we saw him storm out of the game without any high fives.
Yeah, he very much like
that's good.
He very much has that fire in him, which I like personally. But also, I've seen him put in that work, and this season he's been able to knock down. I mean, when he gets left open, he's had games where I think he hit 5 threes one game earlier this season. Like I don't think it's a complete liability from the outside. And additionally, you talked about him passing it out. That also has to do with your supporting cast. Like, if Bledsoe, Middleton, Brook Lopez, those guys on the bench, Wes Matthews can put together a couple of big games. I mean, look, we saw it today with Avery Bradley. If Avery Bradley doesn't hit 6 threes, do we know if the Lakers win today? Probably not. So, for as much as Giannis can do, no, he's still going to need help from his supporting
cast. How about this?
So, but what I would say about Kawhi is I think Kawhi obviously had a great playoffs last season. But I just really think that was all the stars aligning, and like now we're almost having this recency bias where it's like, well, it's LeBron or Kawhi. It's like no, it's like I still think LeBron is definitely in the conversation based on just his whole career. We can't count him out yet. With Kawhi, I think that we need to. I don't want to become a prisoner of the moment after last season.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I don't think. Okay, yeah, I'll take that. But I guess going forward now we can segue nicely into the title race. I still think, if I was to pick finals teams, I believe the Lakers, Clippers, Western Conference Finals will be more of an NBA Finals than whichever team of those plays the Bucks.
Man, I don't think the
Bucks have a taste. And I'll give you my argument right now. So right now, like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm all on the Lakers. I would put $100 on them right now to win the title. Which has to do with a lot of things, but looking at the other two teams, why I think they're weaker. Especially the Bucks. I'll talk about the Bucks. Why I think the Clippers are a tier above them, or not a tier, but just a level above them, is that in the Eastern Conference, which is better than it has been in years past when LeBron was there. It's better, and I think the teams they're gonna face are gonna be well equipped to handle Giannis. For example. It's not a regular season where every night, you see a different team and, Giannis drops 40 and 20 on the Hornets and then, he hoops on, the Brooklyn Nets, whatever. This is the same exact team for 7 games that's game planning against you, okay? So they are great at home and they're going to have home court in every game. But, for example, the Miami Heat, who beat them last week, right? That was a huge game in Miami.
Let's go. Let's go Heat.
Go Heat. Woo! Bam looked great on Giannis. And listen, just to give context.
He's probably the only guy in the league
I'll say this, just to give context. The Heat have beat them twice. Once, it was the second game of the season, and that was actually without Butler. It was second or third game of the season. I think it was second for the Bucks. We had Butler was not playing that game, but we had Justice Winslow. So different team, different Heat team. You could throw that one out if you want to. But it says a lot about our coaching and our guys that were guarding Giannis, I think. And also this game, second night of a back-to-back on the road for the Bucks, who Giannis put up 40 and 20, I think, against the Hornets. They had a late-night flight flying back down to Miami, and they played a game the next day. All right, that's okay.
No need to make excuses.
No, I'm giving the context because that is important. But it did show that our coaching's great. Coach Spoelstra, really he had the game plan for Giannis. He threw all the bodies like Iguodala and Bam, and even we saw like Duncan Robinson going over to double team Giannis, who was passing it out of, coughing the ball up a few times, missing shots. He shot below 50% that game, which his season average is about shooting 57%. From the field. So I think we showed that we have the coaching and the personnel, the bodies, the big guys to go throw at Giannis to stop him. Because what happens when he throws it? You just made the argument. LeBron's gonna throw it to Avery Bradley and he's gonna score sometimes, right? They threw the bodies at Giannis, and who did he throw it to? Chris Middleton, who also played horribly that game.
He had a bad game.
Right, and I think scored like below 20 points and shot below 50%. And he was cold that game. And because of that, I think and I'm not making an argument that the Heat will be able to make it to the finals because I don't think that the Heat could beat the Celtics. So that would be my dark horse team.
Then that's what I asked you.
My dark horse team is the Celtics.
Bro, the Celtics are not beating the Bucks purely based on...
I think the Heat, it's rock, paper, scissors.
No, bro.
The Bucks would beat the Celtics, but if the Heat beat the Bucks, I think the Celtics would beat the Heat. Which I hate to say that as a Heat fan and as someone who lives in Boston
if that would happen,
can't stand the Boston fans.
No, now you're sleeping on the Raptors. Are we sure that the Celtics will beat the Raptors?
Listen, the Raptors, we love what they're doing too. They're defending their title. The Celtics, I think Celtics Raptors, that could be it as well. But they are playing in the second round. The second round is probably going to end up being... Actually, I shouldn't say this because the Heat are only 2 games behind the Celtics right now. But the second round is going to be Bucks and the Heat, and then Raptors and the Celtics. So, of those 4 teams, I don't know who meets in the conference finals, but I could see going anyway.
Here's what I have to say. As much as I like to say and believe that the Heat will make the finals... Or beat the Bucks even.
We have the shot.
It's not going to happen, and I'm just saying that based on to win 53 games by this time of the season, to be on a 70-game pace. Let's say they win 70. Let's say they win 70. Let's say they win 65. 65, you're in another level, and the Heat will get to maybe
and the
50.
Rockets did that 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, and they lost to the Warriors with 4 All-Stars in their team.
Right.
So I don't think that to be able to say that the Bucks won't make it, it's
matchups. It's matchups.
Anyway,
playoffs are different. When you're game playing for the same team every single night, it's just different, Alex.
As far as the West, I think that we obviously just both picked LeBron as far as, head to head, because some people think it's simply you just gotta pick which team has the most stars or the best stars. And LeBron and Davis is probably the duo that we both pick over Kawhi and Paul George. And we haven't spoken about him yet. I think this has to do with Paul George has had second half of the season. He's had his injuries, but second half of the season he's been a little bit off, and a rejuvenated Paul George would make a big difference in this argument. But so what I'm gonna say in the Western Conference, how I view it is, I pick LeBron if we're just picking from stars, but then the supporting cast, I feel like I would still pick the Clippers supporting cast. Obviously, they've been able to add Reggie Jackson, which I think actually that's a huge guy. Not just that it's good for the Clippers.
Sure, I'll agree with you on that.
It's more that the Lakers don't have that guy.
Yeah,
and we saw tonight Ron had to play a lot of minutes, which was not good. Actually, I saw a lot of people on Twitter just saying, "Why is Ronald Ryan?"
Well, the truth is, people hated on him because he was missing, he couldn't help LeBron space the floor.
He can't shoot.
His plus minus was 0. I don't put that out there.
Plus that's not good. The plus minus 0 is not good.
It was even. And they won the game by
the space, the eye test, the space. Just nothing about Ronald on the court seems nice to me, other than when LeBron's off it. Because then at that point it's fine, you need a point guard. But anyway, I digress. But we're talking about the supporting cast, and so I think I'm going to have to pick the Lakers just because I still like LeBron and Davis over Kawhi and Paul George, although I like the Clippers, supporting cast better. And then also just lastly, home court advantage, if that means anything. They're essentially in that series. The Lakers have 7 home games. To me, that's something that hit me the first game of the season when you hear all the Lakers. Literally,
we heard MVP chants for LeBron at the free throw line, which that shouldn't be surprising. That's not breaking news. That the game is in LA. Of course, there's gonna be a lot of Laker fans there, but it just shows you I think I was just saying this actually. BC Eagle alum. Jared Dudley tweeted this early. He's saying all 7 games.
Shout out Jared.
Look, both teams at full strength. Check. Every game at Staples is a home game. Check. MVP talk weekend. 80 is a different animal. I said what I said. Okay, so first,
bro, this guy every game
I hate guys that
what are you doing?
I hate guys that tweet when you're playing 0 minutes. So
that was us. Don't act like that wasn't us. Varsity senior year of high school.
Very true. So nice, Jared Dudley talking that trash, even though you didn't play at all. But
big shout out.
He does have a point there. Every game at Staples will be a home game for the Lakers. I do think so. But to go back to your point, I think that's the big argument here is I definitely think the Clippers role players are better, right? But tonight we saw Avery Bradley step up. So this is an argument we had a few weeks ago, and recently I actually did something I rarely do. I admitted that I was wrong, and I admitted that.
Did ya?
Me and Alex were talking about the the benches of championship teams. And I was looking at that Lakers bench, and I just didn't think they had it in them to be a championship team. Now, like, you know, I look at the Heat teams, right, who had rebounders, shot blockers like, you know, Bosh and, you know, Chris Birdman Anderson, 3-point shooters like Ray Allen, Mike Miller, and Shane Battier, you know, guys who will defend, guys who will, you know, be the off-ball shooters, like even like Norris Cole, Kamar Chalmers. I looked at this Lakers team and I was like, is Avery Bradley going to do that? Is he going to hit 6 threes in a finals game?
And today was my biggest told you so moment.
He did it.
Bradley was not missing.
But guess what? It was not the NBA Finals.
So, it doesn't matter, bro.
No, the jury's still out.
He has the capability of doing
to do it in a regular season game. It's different in the playoffs.
You can't tell
Stephen A. Smith. Palms get sweaty and backsides get tight, right?
Bro.
It's the playoffs. It's just different.
No.
I want to see him do it.
No, but I don't care
hope Alex Caruso hoops in the playoffs. Is he going to? It'd be shocking to see a guy
but here's
like
why I don't
Caruso
care, John.
ball.
Because
that's what their backup guys are.
Speaking of that, we've seen a guy like Matthew Dellavedova have some good finals games. So,
right,
and obviously, like, I would definitely
against the garbage
Alex Caruso's
Warriors.
probably on his team, on his, you know, level. You're talking about Shane Battier, Mike Miller, like these are guys like. Shane Battier was a good role player.
Don't compare him.
Avery Bradley's also a good role player.
But
like, Danny Green has done that in the finals.
Danny Green has.
I like the finals record in 3 points.
I like Green. So Kuzma's a good scorer, but listen, we've seen him, you know, for lack of a better term, poop the bed sometimes, right?
Who?
Kuzma, you know, they were talking about trading him, you know, and
I'm not even worried about it. Kuzma's like, is
he not their third fiddle?
No, I actually don't think so.
You think it's Danny Green?
If you're saying like pure talent, maybe it's Kuzma as far as like just overall like what they can do on a basketball court, but. And I think this is gonna sound stupid, but yeah, I probably think it's Danny Green. But then also like additionally, I don't think it's like you need a like quote unquote third fiddle.
No, you're right, and
it's
that's
more
why,
about who's it gonna be.
Right.
Like give me that list. It's you got Danny Green, you got Avery Bradley, you got Kuzma, you even have JaVale and Caruso,
and then
Rondo and Dwight. Like if you imagine
two guys who've been in the finals,
12 points, 12 rebounds, and like
even
15 minutes.
I can see that in one game like that.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I said I did go back and I admitted I was wrong at this point because I do think they have what it takes now, and I come around on that. And my main thought process on that being, you know. Like I feel like a few years ago it was like the big three. Every team needed a big three. They needed Tony, Manu, and Tim Duncan, right? Wade, LeBron, and Bosh. This team, there's no big three, but it's as big of a big two as you can have. It's LeBron and Anthony Davis, who I think other than Giannis are the top 2 PER guys in the league right now. So you have 2 of the best players in the league right now. So the guys that fit around that, your big shot blocker, rebounders like Dwight and JaVale who've been doing well. They got another big body in Markieff Morris, which I like to see, especially today, because he one-upped his brother in the LA team battle.
It was funny, just because, I don't know if I said this before, but like there was all that fuss about, the Clippers and the Lakers are in an arms race to pick up. This is Woj tweeting. Are they in an arm race to pick up Marcus Morris? And finally, the Clippers, traded for him, and it was like, whoa, the Clippers have they just won up the Lakers. Like they have the advantage in the finals. LeBron, like Marcus Morris knows how to guard LeBron.
And they said, hey, we'll pick up his twin.
And
brother.
literally a couple weeks later, they pick up his twin. And Markieff, sure, mate. Like Markieff has had years where he's been better than Marcus. Marcus has had years where he's been better than Markieff.
Yeah.
But Markieff right now is probably at least like 85 or 90% as good as Marcus.
Sure.
But today, Marcus absolutely.
They actually both didn't really play that well.
Pooped the bed.
To go back to my point, they got their shooters, right? Bradley proved he could shoot today. We've seen it from Danny Green. Even Rondo here and again will hit a 3 in the corner.
Get him off the court.
Or Caruso, these guys. And all that around the nucleus of LeBron and Anthony Davis, I think right now, if they can win the title, I think it's arguably one of LeBron's best teams. And I said that mostly because Anthony Davis.
Wait. Okay, then I have to ask you this question. The final question, maybe, before we wrap it up. Did the Lakers win 27 straight games this year?
No, they did not.
Okay, so they're not. Definitely not. But, I don't know. I probably disagree with that. But I guess my picks for the finals...
Right now.
I think if I just had to pick, I'm
the series, too. What do you get the series going?
All right, so I'll go...
Conference finals and finals.
All right, so...
Or do you just say... You could just say the Bucks, because I don't think...
I'll just say the Bucks.
Those are the three-headed teams.
Although I want to say Heat. And that's the thing about my heart, my heart gets invested in these things. But honestly, that's why I feel like I'm kind of inclined to say the Lakers, just because, not even my heart, but just the way I feel about LeBron. Like, I can't imagine him not like last year he wasn't in the playoffs. We didn't see him like lose an early playoff round, as in not in the finals. You know what I'm saying? So I almost can't even imagine what's gonna have to take. It will have to take for him to lose in the conference finals. And I think honestly, I guess to answer that question, I just think Kawhi and Paul George both need to be on point because I'm pretty sure you pretty much know what you're gonna get with LeBron in the playoffs. And I think he's a good enough leader that he'll be able to influence Davis to play well. And right now, they're both playing well.
Yeah.
With the Clippers, Kawhi is playing well. He's playing fine. But Paul George needs to step up.
They're definitely not proving it in the regular season. And one thing I'll say is, last week on this podcast we talked about. We did the Jordan versus LeBron, or it was about 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, I think. We did Jordan versus LeBron, and like one of the main arguments is like, the finals record and this, that, and like, LeBron's 3-6. And my big point that I brought up was, guess what? LeBron was never favored, or the one time he was favored two times. He won one of them. He lost in 2011, but he wasn't favored in most of them. This year, he's gonna be favored
to win it all.
Don't you think so? They're gonna be favored.
I think they are actually right now.
Right now, them and the Bucks, I think, are plus 275.
NBA Finals.
So
odds.
They're gonna be favored this year. I don't see LeBron losing.
Actually, no. Looks like the Bucks still had.
I saw them at even odds, but
the Bucks have the best 9-4.
According to that one,
Los Angeles are 11-4.
Okay, but in the playoffs, I'm telling you, going into that series,
sure.
You don't think like Lakers Bucks are people gonna say, "Oh, LeBron, it's gonna be an uphill battle for him to beat this Bucks team"? No. They're not going to say it the same way they said. It was an uphill battle for him to beat the 73-9 Warriors, the 2017-2018 Warriors when he didn't have Kyrie that year. Like, no,
here's what I'll say,
or the Spurs when he got swept in 2007 with that Cavs team with no other All-Star. Like,
I mean, to answer that question, it's obvious that like you're going to need to know what is going to happen leading up to that. Like, what will be the playoff stories? And it's like, what if the Bucks kind of just run through the East and like, maybe towards the end of the season they fall apart a little bit. They pull it together. They're going to, absolutely dismantle whoever, like the Nets or the Magic they play first.
If they go 12-1,
then they're gonna crush like. Actually, it'd be the Heat. So I'm just gonna say they're not gonna crush the Heat. But anyway, let's say they did crush whoever they play second round, and then third round it's like maybe a 6-game series, and they're waiting for the Lakers to get out of their like 7-game series with the Clippers. Who knows? But I guess that's the whole rest versus rust type of idea.
But right now I can't see LeBron losing a title in which he's favored. The only time he's done that in his career was 2011. Yeah, but his 9
to
finals.
me, I guess I don't really care about who's favorite. It's more just like what do I think?
I'm just saying when LeBron has the card stacked in his favor, he's not going to choke that away. He did in 2011 when he was 25 years old. He's 35 now. He's aging like with fine wine or whatever the thing he likes saying all the time.
# washed king.
Washed king. So that's what I think. It was an awesome weekend, and we got a lot more in the last 20 games of the season to talk about. And March Madness is coming up. We're gonna do our studying for our brackets, and we'll definitely do a pod on that.
Cram in action.
So look forward to that. But thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed.
As always, go Heat. Thank you.